The problem with canon, Rings of Power and Star Trek Strange New Worlds did the impossible, adapting behemoth pieces of IP without pissing off fans.
What the hell are they smoking?
It says for the most part, you are high, lady. What is your name? Adrian Westonfield. You suck at your job. You are not very good. If you are assessing pop culture right now and you think that the Rings of Power was well received, you should be fired. If you're paid for this article, anything, a penny, you're overpaid. You are not good at what you do. I don't care how educated you are. You wasted it. Your parents wasted all that tuition. You're in debt for nothing.
Stop! He's already dead.
Nerdrotic.com.
Real quick, we're going to talk about Namor on this specifically because
Namor.
Did you see his I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for inclusion speech?
I saw that just today.
But our good friend RMB says that is not a break of canon. You're technically right, but here's the problem with that. We were excited that Marvel Cinematic Universe existed and it owned its own content, so they would adapt the comic books correctly. We have seen superheroes being adapted where they didn't have the right costume on, or they always were afraid to go full comic book. And when the MCU started with Paramount, not Disney, we were promised this shit's going to look like the Marvel comic books. And that's how they started. Thor looked like Thor. Hulk looked like Hulk. Fucking Iron Man looked like Iron Man. Cap looked like Cap. And now they look like fucking Power Rangers. Everybody just looks like fucking Power Rangers. And I don't mean to disrespect Power Rangers, to be honest with you. It looks worse than Power Rangers. When Marvel takes Namor on, we expect Namor to look like the Namor from the comic books. So it is a break. We can go through the adaptation and break it. Well, if that's your attitude towards it, then fucking Rings of Power is fine. Star Trek is fine. But it's not fine. It does break the canon, even with an adaptation. Namor would have been completely believable as the comic book version from Atlantis as this version. It's fucking ridiculous. I'm going to say, where is Namor? I'll fucking die on that hill. I don't care. That's a character I've been looking forward to seeing, and they completely fucked it up. It's got nothing to do with the character from the comics, and it has everything to do with rights issues and nothing to do with fucking representation. That is some bullshit.
That's why I like that they've changed the pronunciation. This isn't Namor, it's Namor, a completely different character called Namor. Because Namor isn't here. I don't see it.
And did you hear their explanations? They have two different explanations of why they said it.
One of them's because he wasn't given that name because somebody else gave him the name, and they love that it's not pronounced the right way. It's really fucking cringe.
So are they trying to turn it into a slave narrative where it's it was a name given to him?
Kind of, yeah. And then Victoria Alonso said something different, right?
El niño sin amor. Por eso le dicen Namor.
¿En serio?
El niño que creció sin amor. Namor.
Yeah, his name translates to the loveless child or something like that.
Yeah, a boy who grew up without love.
Yeah.
When it actually means avenging son. And you could have done some of that. You could have actually had an environmentalist theme with it, because fucking Namor comes back because he hates what has been done to his people. And he's a half-breed, so he's not really at home in either world. That's part of the reason he's the first fucking real anti-hero in superhero comic books. And a complex one. It would have been fun.
That picture just did describe everything Gary said. The picture of the lady right there.
I'm not feeling well.
So has you just seen Wakanda Forever?
She's upset because she thought a white person was just going to give her tickets.
This message is to all our would-be accomplices and white allies. Do not go see that movie opening weekend. You buy your ticket, you give it to a black person or a black family who can't afford to go. And then you go sit at that theater in front of the doors. You make sure that you use your body to block us from anybody who would be coming in that theater to do us harm.
Wakanda forever. Have you noticed we haven't seen the pre-sale tickets have broken records?
Oh yeah.
Nobody fucking cares about this movie.
We haven't seen this, and that's usually what they start with. I just don't think there's a ton of interest in this movie. I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong. It just doesn't feel that way.
Will it do better than Thor: Love and Thunder?
Maybe.
Yes.
There is one.
You know the critics are going to cream their pants over.
Absolutely. There's one major missing thing though. The Black Panther. There's no fucking Black Panther in this. It's going to be Shuri at the end, but that's not the fucking Black Panther. It's just not.
Well, I think this might be the biggest gap in between the critics who are going to be terrified to be called racist, so they're going to give it 100%, greatest movie ever made, versus the fan reaction. This is going to be a massive gap, I think.
The problem with canon, Rings of Power and Star Trek Strange New Worlds did the impossible, adapting behemoth pieces of IP without pissing off fans.
What the hell are they smoking? We've seen some bombs in recent memory, but I do not think I've seen like anything that has pissed off the core fan base more than Rings of Power. Period. Like the backlash from the Lord of the Rings fan base was just so glorious, and the fact that they could unironically say that it didn't piss off fans, it's like you haven't even looked at the internet once to have that take.
Turns out Star Wars and the MCU have much to learn. I'll agree with you there, but they all suck. It's all of them. It's everything. It's the best of times. It's the worst of times to be a fan. No, it's pretty much just the worst of times. For devotees of mega franchises like Star Wars and Marvel Cinematic Universe, there's never been a more massive glut of new content. We're living through a golden age of interconnected storytelling.
Golden age, my ass.
Gary, she should just be fired now.
I would say the golden showers age.
You stole my gold.
Yeah. As sequels and prequels explode across film faster than many of us can keep up. Yet, at the same time, the mega franchises are tormented by the most strident fans. Really?
That's you guys.
That's us.
They're talking about
we're tormenting.
Toxic fandom.
Of toxicity through petitions, review bombing, and targeted harassment campaigns, among other odious tactics.
We can't even arrange our own fucking podcast.
Toxic. I know, right?
If it was a campaign, where is the organizing hub? Well, it would be really easy to point towards if there was an actual campaign made to harass people. Point it out. Where is it?
I can tell you exactly where it's at. It's the shitty content that they're fucking providing. That's where it's organized right there. Because everybody collectively looks at it and says, this is dog shit. Now we're going to go online and talk about it.
No, there has actually been organized targeting campaigns. Disney organized a campaign to target the fans.
Yes, they did.
When they created the fake Moses Ingram is being attacked for racism. That was a targeted marketing campaign to try and shut people up because Kenobi was going to be dog shit. And Kenobi was dog shit. So, yes, there has been targeted campaigns.
By the way, accuse your enemy of what you are doing yourself. That's exactly
rule number one.
Rule number one. Toxic fandom is a complex beast. But at the root of its many convulsions, there is often one sore spot, the sticky concept of canon. So this is conflation. This is absolutely conflation, because what we get upset about is seeing the franchises, by the way, that would have never survived this long without us, paying, paying with our toxic dollars, our toxic time, because we love this stuff. And then you want to make enemies out of us. We're waiting for the smoking gun, but it's getting very close to being confirmed as legit marketing campaigns that the companies devise themselves. These aren't like just organic access media accounts going out going toxic fandom. That is a term that was coined. That was coined specifically for marketing. And fan baiting is a real thing. It's also a massive failure. The way corporations run these days, they can't admit failure. We just talked about all the shows they wouldn't cancel that they should have because they were afraid to look bad. And this is going to be their undoing. That's been our problem. Our problem has been with the storytelling. Our problem was never with a black stormtrooper. We would have been fucking interested in that. Absolutely. Our problem was Luke drinking fucking titty milk. That was our fucking problem. Canon is script. Canon is king. Canon can do no wrong. Not necessarily. Its definition is simple. The term refers to fictional body of work and its established facts, and that's where the simplicity ends. Well, it's not really that simple. The fans know this shit more than anybody else does in Hollywood, for the most part. anybody else working on these. We just know more. So we're going to know if you're full of shit. And there's a lot of people working on these things that are full of shit. Canon has a big problem, and the call is coming from inside the house. It's not hard to see how this obsession with canonical fealty has hamstrung Marvel and Lucasfilm, two franchise juggernauts that every innovation is punished by a fan meltdown when storytellers are held hostage by their own audiences. Fuck off, lady.
Oh, that is so stupid.
Wow.
No, when storytellers are lazy and they suck. I mean, that's just it. If we had good stories, we wouldn't have a problem. Even if you did do something different with Luke, if it was a good story, none of us would have a problem. House of the fucking Dragon. I was down as hell on Game of Thrones, worse, as bad as anybody. But the show was good, objectively good. If we get a good story, we're pretty cool with things. It just depends on how it's presented and whether it's in the spirit of it. And when we can tell that, like, the Doctor becoming female, a woman, was a political, ideological decision. It was not a creative storytelling decision. You could see it a mile away. They saddled her with identity politics, and it became a giant failure, so much so they had to bring back David Tennant and, like, roll the Brinks truck to fucking Russell T. Davies, who's still going to double down on this shit because the world went mad. Well, the entertainment world went mad after 2016. If you have the attitude you're being held hostage by the people who gave you that fucking job, the reason you're working on Star Wars is because people like us obsessed over it for years and years, and it doesn't really take a ton to make us happy. If all you had to do was make Luke a hero, make fucking Luke a hero. You know, if Han had to die, have him die saving his son, going out in a blaze of glory.
Put the main three on screen together one last time.
Yeah.
Nerdrotic.com. Please subscribe.